I have no hesitation whatsoever in affirming that human values are the most vital aspects of every culture and every individual. Their sincere practice arouses the latent energies of the soul and leads us to inner peace and social harmony. Human values provide the fundamental framework and guidance for the development and preservation of a nation's institutions, its laws, its traditions, norms, and acceptable social behaviors. The values of a culture also inspire its art, its music, and literature. They suggest which artifacts are important, which days and events should be commemorated, and more. Yet, more importantly, human values are the centerpiece of one's character and personality. For it is our values, or the lack thereof, that provide the essential starting point for what we think, what we say, and do, for what inspires and motivates us, and how we engage with others and move about in the world around us. Throughout my teaching career, I referenced many wise and inspiring people. Among them was Abraham Maslow, one of the world's most eminent psychologists, who is best known for his hierarchy of needs theory. In his book entitled Religions, Values, and Peak Experiences, he wrote the following: "The ultimate disease of our time is valuelessness, and this state is more critically dangerous than ever before in history. This state of valuelessness can be described as anomie, amorality, estrangement, rootlessness, separateness, alienation, emptiness, purposelessness, and meaninglessness. Wealth, prosperity, technological advance, widespread education, and democratic political forms have failed to produce peace, brotherhood, serenity, and happiness, and have confronted us even more nakedly and unavoidably with the profundities that mankind has been avoiding by its busyness with the superficial. Yes, too many of us are way too busy with things that don't amount to anything, and so sadly superficial in our approach to nearly everything. And when we look around today, it is not a stretch to say what Gandhi, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and so many others have said, which is that the world is in desperate need of a revolution of values. But which values, or whose values, you might ask? Well, it's really not a question of which or whose. There are 5 universal human values that are all-encompassing and serve as the heart and soul of all faith and cultural traditions. These values are innate within the human condition, and they rest within every human being in a relatively undeveloped state as potential energies. When stimulated, practiced, and experienced, their latent qualities begin to emerge and become increasingly evident in one's character and personality. And their routine expression will obviously contribute to better family and community life and begin to address the challenges we face as human beings in the most fundamental, holistic, and realistic way. These values have greatly influenced me for a number of reasons. Yet in part, it is because they form the core philosophy and pedagogy of the U.S. Institute for Satyasai Education, where I served as the founding director from 2009 to 2017. These 5 universal human values are truth, right action, peace, love, and nonviolence. Each is as deep as Mount Everest is high. But since I don't want to get too lengthy, I will only provide a brief overview, which I hope is sufficient to give you a feel for the unfathomable implications of these 5 values. Since time immemorial, truth has been a central pursuit of philosophical and spiritual inquiry. Most essentially, truth can be envisioned as both absolute and relative. Absolute truth is defined as that which is permanent, eternal, and changeless throughout the 3 periods of time, past, present, and future. And thus, in nearly every scripture of every religion, East and West, absolute truth is often referred to as God. On the other hand, relative truth refers to scientific and other verifiable facts and includes those things generally known to be accurate, honest, and good. Relative truth is also defined as that which may be true for you, but not for me, and something that may have been true yesterday or is today, but not necessarily so tomorrow. Nature, people, and all constructed things are subject to modification. And so it is said that everything changes. And that change in this relativistic world of names and forms is the only constant. Truth lies at various stages of development within everyone. As such, it is defined and experienced as relative throughout these stages until the actual experience of eternal, absolute truth, or God, is achieved. Some of the practices that can assist in moving us along the path from relative truth to absolute truth include reasoning, discernment, self-inquiry, and the relentless pursuit of wisdom. Here are 3 quotes on truth by Satya Sai Baba, Pope John Paul II, and Shakespeare. Believe that there is nothing greater than truth, nothing more precious, nothing sweeter, and nothing more lasting. Truth is all protecting. There is no mightier guardian than truth. Truth must be the foundation stone, the cement to solidify the entire social edifice. And Shakespeare, this above all, to thine own self be true, and it must flow, as day follows the night. Thou canst not then be false to any man. Back in the day, my 8th grade teacher, Sister Lucy, would take me aside and tell me that I must always stay true to myself. Of course, I didn't really know what she meant at the time, but it stuck with me. And now I know she was really referring to my higher self. Right action is essential for the constructive progress of individuals, families, communities, organizations, and society. While it naturally takes ethics, morality, and the well-being of others into account, right action also includes right thinking and speaking and acting on the truth that emerges from one's own inner voice of conscience. When that truth gets translated into words and actions, peace and confidence arise within us, and greater social harmony can be actualized. To encourage right action, the practice of other related values, such as concentration, self-control, self-reliance, healthy living, courage, cooperation, and social responsibility are especially helpful and useful. Here are 3 relevant quotes on right action, again by Satya Sai Baba, adding Herman Melville and Bishop John Wesley. Right action is born from truth. It springs from the heart and infuses an inner satisfaction. It is practicing what you preach, doing as you say it has to be done, keeping precept and practice in line. 1,000 fibers connect us with our fellow men, and among those fibers, our actions run as causes, and they come back to us as effects. Do all the good you can, by all the means you can, in all the ways you can, in all the places you can, at all the times you can, to all the people you can, as long as ever you can. Now, in an earlier post on this channel entitled 12 Invocations for Peace, I discussed peace at some length, and so I won't say much here. Everyone wants happiness, but let's be real. Happiness is never possible without peace. Peace is freedom from the mental agitations and worries we too often create within ourselves. Peace is understanding the nature of passing clouds. It is holding on to tranquility and self-assurance in the face of whatever. Values that help empower peace include self-respect, self-confidence, patience, acceptance, surrender, and contentment. Here are 3 good quotes on peace by John Kennedy, Albert Einstein, and Hehaka Sapa, the Oglala Lakota Sioux holy man, more commonly known as Black Elk. Peace is a daily, a weekly, and a monthly process, gradually changing opinions, slowly eroding old barriers, quietly building new structures. Peace cannot be kept by force. It can only be achieved by understanding. And Black Elk, above all, you should understand that there can never be peace between nations until there is first known that true peace, which, as I have often said, is within the souls of men. Yeah, a lot of men stuff here. It's all these guys. There's a lot of gender stuff here, but you know, it's really universal. Love is the 4th value. But since I've already posted recordings on love, also like peace, let me simply add the following. Consciously or unconsciously, and in one form or another, love is the primary motive throughout the entire cosmos. Love is most often expressed and experienced emotionally. That is, as attraction, infatuation, and affection. And that's okay. And yet, when it matures and becomes centered on the happiness and well-being of others, one can experience its deeply gratifying and inspiring nature and achieve a variety of inner advantages and unforeseen benefits. Some of the values associated with love are caring, trust, compassion, friendship, kindness, respect, forgiveness, commitment, and generosity. Here's what Professor Leo Buscaglia, the Dalai Lama, and philosopher priest Pierre Teilhard de Chardin have said about this value of love. To live in love is life's greatest challenge. It requires more flexibility, subtlety, sensitivity, understanding, acceptance, tolerance, knowledge, and strength than any other human endeavor. Love and compassion are necessities, not luxuries. Without them, humanity cannot survive. The day will come when, after harnessing space, the winds, the tides, and gravitation, we shall harness the energies of love. And on that day, for the second time in the history of the world, we shall have discovered fire. Simply stated, nonviolence is doing no harm. It is living in deliberate and conscious harmony with all sentient beings and with nature. At its highest levels, nonviolence extends well beyond merely refraining from violent words and actions. And it must also be applied to ourselves. However, to be real, at this level of life, one has a duty to defend oneself and one's family from harm. Some of the more practical values associated with nonviolence include unity, social justice, appreciation for others' cultures and religions, and concern for the well-being of animal life and our natural environment. Here are two quotes on nonviolence by Mahatma Gandhi and Myred Maguire. Nonviolence is not the crude thing it has been made to appear. Not to hurt any living thing is no doubt a part of nonviolence, but it is its least expression. The principle of nonviolence is hurt by every evil thought, by undue haste, by lying, by hatred, by wishing ill to anybody. Nonviolence, Gandhi says, has its root in love. I believe with Gandhi that we need to renew this ancient wisdom of nonviolence, to strive for a disarmed world, and to create a culture of nonviolence. In wrapping up, here is a quote from Satya Sai Baba that encapsulates these 5 values in one fell swoop. Taken together, these 5 values of truth, right action, peace, love, and nonviolence encompass a full vision of human potential. This includes fulfillment of the quest of the intellect for truth, the channeling of the will into satisfying expression through right action, the resolution of the conflicts of human emotions and interactions in the achievement of inner and outer peace, the expansion of the heart in the flow of love, and the realization of perfect sympathy for all creation through nonviolence. And regarding the centrality of love among these values, he also said, love in thought is truth. Love in action is morality and right living. Love in feeling is peace. And love and understanding is nonviolence. Taking the time to reflect on the value of more deeply understanding and practicing these values and their associated values is enriching in and of itself, and will give us the actual experience of the vital role these values can play in our families, in education, in decision-making of all kinds, in our everyday personal life, and as the inspiration for what is good and worthwhile. And so let's embrace them. Let's practice them while using our common sense and not go overboard. And then see what happens as life and time go by. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoy this and perhaps maybe even listen to it again to check out what these values really mean. See you next time.